Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. It's Wendy here from Little Nest Crafts, and thank you for joining me today. This video is another video in the series for Rachel and Bella Crafts, who are hosting another of their fantastic collaborations, and this one is called Best of Brits JJ, which is Best of British Junk Journaling. So for those of you who are new and aren't already following along, if you type in hashtag Best of Brits JJ, it will take you to all of the videos that all of these wonderful participants and designers over the 4 weeks that this collaboration is running. It will take you to each of the videos that they are posting. And the reason for this little collaboration is just to highlight the fantastic British designers that there are in the UK, and to try and highlight their channels a little bit more, because it's quite difficult for the smaller channels to get recognised on YouTube. And we're not saying that we're any better than anybody else in the UK, because there's some fantastic designers all over the world, and we are thankful every day for those. But for the smaller channels and for channels such as myself, it's quite difficult in the world of YouTube to get your your videos out in their algorithms to get noticed a little bit more. So that's what Rachel wanted to do. She wanted to put a plug out for all of the British designers. So it began on the 12th of September and it's running until the 10th of October. So every day a video will be posted and it will be highlighting some of the lovely work that's being done. Now, what Rachel did, she paired us up with a crafting buddy, and she tried to make it that there was a larger channel buddying against a smaller channel. So Jez from Jez Creates is my buddy, and obviously I'm the baby channel in comparison to Jez. Jez is a fantastic designer, so I do hope that you'll support her and go along to her channel, because she's got some fantastic projects in her YouTube website. And what I've done is I've gone along and I've picked 2 of her projects that I'd like to bring forth and do my own take on what she's done. So my first video went out on the 25th of October. So I do hope that you've seen that one. And Jez's came out on the sorry, not October, September. Mine's coming out on the mine came out on the 25th, and Jez's came out on the 24th. And this is a little extra because I found it hard to choose, because there's so many of Jez's creations that I'd like to have a go at. So these are just the 2 that I picked out. So what project am I bringing you? Well, what Jez made is a project called Stack and Whack, and Whack, and it's to make some tags. And as you know, that behind the scenes I've been putting together a little journal using all of the lovely pages from this kit of Rachel's. All of the links for this kit and for Jez's website will be in the bottom information box on this video, so do go along and have a look there. And what Jez did was she made some tags, and I need, because there's 4 signatures in this little journal I'm putting together, I need quite a lot of tags. So I didn't want them all to be the same sort of style. So when I saw this project, which is another tag project of Jez's, I thought, oh, they look great, just what I need for my little project here. So what she did, she took some of the pages from the kit, and I've done exactly the same. I've printed them out 2 to a page, because obviously my little journal is only small, and I've tried to pick papers that are a bit different, some collage type ones, and then some with a smaller print on, and because I need 4 tags, so I'm hoping that I'm going to get 4 tags out of here. And let's have a look. So I thought what I would do is I'd make them, let me just have a look. Am I going to get is it 8 inches? yeah, so if I do them 2 inches each, sorry, I'm having a craft a lunch. So if I do them 2 inches each, we should get 4 tags. So there's one. And they are quite a slim tag, but I don't mind that. Same again. Make sure my 2. 3, 4, and then I'm going to make them a tad smaller. Yeah, just a tad. I'll take off. If I make them 5 inches long. That's 2. 3. 4. So we won't waste these little ones. Now then, if you go over to Jez's website, she's done different styles of these. She did some that were torn, and then she used a punch on one of them where she'd cut out a circle, which I quite like that idea. So basically what she did, she cut all of these into different shapes. So I'm going to do that now using my guillotine, and let's have a look. So what you want to do is make sure that you don't get them mixed up. So we're going to go that way, and let's have a look. Oops. That way. And then we're going to make sure they're all the same. Now then, I need to have these in the same order, so let me just have a look, because they've dropped down. So we've got the big floral at the back, and then we've got the blue ditzy, because you want to keep them in the same that one, and then that one. So that's going like that. And then we're going to make this into a smaller piece, and same again. So we've got we've got that on the top, then that one, then the blue dipsy, and then that one. So I'm just going to move these out of the way. So now then what you do is you take each of these pieces and you starting at the top, working your way down. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. And then with this one you move along. So you've got 1, 2, 3, then we come back to this one. Oh no, you might want to swap that one, but it's going to be quite difficult to swap. I'm just going to go with it. So we've got 1, oops, so now then, so we're starting off on this one now. 1, 2, 3, and then 4, and then this one. Just wondering if I missed one there. Did I miss one? 1, and that started on 2. That one started there. 3, yeah, that's right. That's right. So now we've got 4, so that will start there. And then here we've got, we're coming back because we haven't got an odd number. We're coming back again, so we need to start there, there, there. Oh no, hang on, that's that one. Oh, that's that one. And that's that one. So that gives you 4 different tags. Right, having cut all these out, what Jez did then is she put them onto some packaging paper. But what I've done is I've printed a coffee dyed sheet of card here, and I'm going to transfer these onto the card. Now then, because they're 2 inches, I'm going to cut these into 2.5 size widths. So that I can put a border around, because I quite like the look of Jez's when she left a border rather than just paste them onto a backing card. Now I will have to print 2 of these because there isn't actually enough for all of the cards. Let's have a look. This one will be really small, I think, but not to worry, we can print some more. That'll be used for something else. And then I'm going to go for 5.5 inches in length to give us a bottom and a top. 5.5. I'll just pop these in my scrap bin. And we'll have a look. So then we'll get our corner rounders, because because like Jez, I like to round the corners of my tags, and I'm going to use the middle sized. There we are. And then she made the tops tag shaped. I think I might just leave that just to make sure I've got enough room. So we'll get our first tag and we'll pop this onto here. Oh, there's plenty of room, I think. So we'll do that. Oops. Do those two. Undo these two. Right. So what we need to do now is ink around the edges. So I'm just going to do that lightly. I'm going to ink around the edges of my tag too. And then we'll get our glue. Now you can sew around these if you like, to give them a bit more of a rustic effect. And I do like sewing, but I've got an embroidery machine and I don't like to use it for embroidering on my paper. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave a little gap between my, so they're not butted up to one another, because I quite like the look of that. And I'm just going to make sure I've got enough room to do that and leave. So if I just pull that up a little bit, make sure it's straight. There we go. Yep, I think we've got enough, just got enough room to play with. So we'll there we go. Well, Chris is going to take the dogs a walk. They follow him around like a bad smell until he's done that in the morning, and then they settle down a little bit then when they come back, because they're live wires, these two. There we go. Oopsie daisy, turn that round the right way. There we are. So I love this effect. I mean, you've got collage papers and you're collaging the pieces as well. So you've got a double whammy and it gives you a different look. So lovely. When I first saw this video, when Jez did it during the collaboration that we were in for RachandBellaCrafts last year, I thought it was a great idea and loved what she did then. So, and it's a great way of, you know, designing some more tags. If you're stuck for some ideas, you know. So I just need to take that up a little bit and bring this one down a little bit. There we go. And I'm going to just snip a bit off the side there because the border's a little bit bigger than I wanted. So let's have a look. Yeah, that's better, I think. And we'll just take down there again. And we'll do the tab at the top. There we go. Just to make sure it's equal with the other side. There, so that's the first one done. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my hole punch, my slot punch. And make a tabbed top ready for some ribbon. So it's a matter of working your way along all of these to do the 4 tabs. So I'll do another one. Pop that on the side there. So we've got some working space. And I will speed up the process of doing these 4 tabs, 4 tags. Now I'm just going to take that tag down and do them all at the same time. Just take a little bit of a there we go. So same as we did before, and just around the bottom. Oh dear. Let's have a look. Where did we get to? So that goes on there. That goes on there. Oops. That goes on there. That goes down the bottom. Oops. Right, let's get gluing. Try and keep the edges level. There we go. Just trying to keep it straight. And last one at the bottom. I might do it that way. Oh, no. That way. There we go. That's tag number 2. There we go. Same again. So just a light inking round and onto the third one. There we go. Excuse my TV in the background. I normally turn it off when I'm in here, but I've forgotten. So we were expecting really bad winds over the past couple of days, but thankfully it's not really affected us too much here in comparison to other areas of the country, so we've been quite fortunate. So we're thankful for small mercies. I've been busy making cards because September's a really busy month for birthdays for our family. Not so much these days because obviously we've lost, my dad's birthday was today, my sister-in-law's is today, my grandson's was yesterday, next door neighbours is yesterday. I've got 2 friends. One was on the 4th of September, the other one's on the 7th of September. My grandfather's used to be on the 2nd. One of my daughter's sons is on the 19th. Oh, what am I doing? I'm jumping again. Let's get this one in quick. Can't talk and craft at the same time, see? So much for multitasking. So much for women and multitasking. And then a friend's husband was on the 30th of September. So it's, I don't know why that always ends up a bit lower down. I think the papers must stretch a little bit. There we go, try that. There we go, bring that over a little bit. There we are. Oops. Try and keep it straight. Just get that glue off there. There we are. There we are. So same again. And last one. Same again. There we are. So very quick to do as well. And what Jez did with one set of the tags, she actually tore them instead of cutting them with the guillotine to get them different shapes. She tore them by hand, which was also a good look. Is that straight? Pop this in. There we go. Last one. There we are. last piece. There we go. There. So you've got 4 beautiful tags. Let me just pop those out of the way. Excuse my arm. Put the lid on my glue. So there's the 4 tags, and then all you've got to do is decorate them as and how you like, with some of the lovely fussy cuts and things that are in Rachel's kit. I have downloaded, you can put flowers on them, you can use little cards, there's some lovely hearts in the kit. I've got some beautiful flowers that might be nice on there. You've got some stamps. These are other bits of ephemera. Or you could just add some nice sentiments. There's some lovely banners in the kit, so you could, you know, put a banner on the front. And then if you've got some pictures, I'm just seeing what else I've got in my stash. Frames, they're a bit too big. These were things from Angela Kerr, one of Angela Kerr's kit that I've still got in my stash. I've got these lovely pieces, stamp pieces from another of Rachel's kit, where I did or you could just leave them as is and machine. You can put pockets on the front, but it's a shame to cover the fronts up really. And if you've got photos, just for an example, you can put a picture on the front. That's the wrong sort of picture really. What have I got in the way of photos at the back here? A bit dark. I'm just seeing if I've got, you know, if they're a bit smaller, that would look nice in a smaller picture. So the choice is yours for decorating wise, or you can just add a nice sentiment or a word. Let me just get my box of tricks out here and we'll just have a look. You could put something like that. Let's have a look. There's a little heart there. There's a nice label. It just says flower. A bit big, that one. Yeah, it calls out for a nice little tag. yeah, I think just a little sentiment would be nice. There's another thing there, look, that says flourish. Maybe that, and just some lace. And we get number 5. Sorry if I knocked the phone then. Oh, I did. Write a list for number 6. Let's have a look. Yeah, I think they look okay. And we could have a little ticket down there maybe. And it says specimen. No, I quite like the rose on there. So I'm going to go away and glue those on, and I'll be right back. Right, everything is stuck down now, and what I've done is I've given the little butterflies a little bit of bling by adding a faux pearl on, and I've stuck the sentiments down. I put some lace behind the flower there, and then the final touch is just to add the crinkle ribbon into the tags, and I've used the same crinkle seam binding that I used in the previous tags that I did from Jez's project. So we'll just make sure that that's snug. Oops, oh, I didn't mean to do that. We'll have to repair that one. That's the only thing I find with those, they're a bit fragile, but not to worry, I can put some card behind it. We'll just be careful with this one. So we'll go steady. So we'll just be careful with this one. There we go. And this one. Right, just so that you know, I've repaired this, and all I've done is I've cut a piece of the scrap, made a little oblong, glued it all over the hole, and then I'm going to redo the hole on here, so all is not lost. And this is the worst bit, is trying to get it in the same place. But there we go. And then we can rethread our ribbon through, and you wouldn't even know that there was a a little tear, and we'll just take extra care pulling that through because obviously it's a bit wet. There we go. There we go. And there we are. It looks fairly neat at the back, and it doesn't affect the tag. So that's it for this little project. I was going to mention the other way of doing these tags, and I'll just do that quickly so that you can see. I'll just put these to one side. There we go. But what Jez did was she tore these manually by going down. So if I just move these out the way, pop that there, and then I'll do this. So I'll just pop those to one side, and we'll do the same again. So it's 1, 2, and 2, 3. Oh, still. Sorry, folks, I've missed a piece. Three, 4. Now this is going to be rough, but hopefully I can follow what I did before. And right, so what we'll do is we'll put them back together. Sorry about this, everybody. So we've got pink, blue, the floral, pink, blue. That's the last one. So now then, these are the second pieces. So we're going to move these along. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then this is the third piece. So we've got, I'm going to have to move this one to make that different. There we go. 3. So we've got the blue one there. Pink one there. That one there. That one there. And then we've got this one here. This one here. This one here. This one here. And then we've got this one here. This one here. This one there. And this one there. So as you can see, you'll get a different look. So I'm not going to put those together, but it just shows you that you can achieve the same by hand tearing them. So this is the third style of tag that Jez did, and what she used was a punch, and she punched a circle out of the middle of her tag, and then cut the rest into different shapes and did the same sort of jigsaw puzzle, putting them all back together. So if you want to see how Jez has done that, as I say, go over to her website, because I didn't want to make this video any longer than it is already. So you've got that style of tag, you've got this style of tag with the straight cut edges, and you've got this style of tag with the torn edges, and then that style. So there's lots there to be going on with to give you inspiration. So I do hope that you'll go over to Jez's YouTube. I'll put the links in my box below, and yeah, enjoy the rest of the collaboration, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now. Bye.